Welcome to Section 2, Python and Flask Web Application. The idea behind this section is that since this is a hands-on course, we'll build a user registration form using the Flask Web Application framework, and throughout this course, we'll improve this application and also the various Python functions which we can use to work with our regular expressions. We'll begin this section with a small overview of Python. We'll then learn how to install Flask, and at the end of this section, we'll have a minimal user registration form. Welcome to the first video. We'll have a quick overview of Python. Python is a high-level interpreted language. It's object-oriented. It supports creating, importing modules and packages, and it's used extensively in web application development, numerical computation, and machine learning. And regular expressions are used extensively in machine learning. So what are the data structures? It supports list, tuple, a dictionary, and sets. What is a list? It's like an array. Come from languages like C. It can contain elements of different types. Let's create a list of numbers. Pretty simple. Type function shows you the underlying data type, shows list. You can see the methods which are on the list object. Append, copy, count, sort, remove, reverse, insert. Let's try reverse. Yep, it works. And what about sort? Yep, that's nice. So it's so easy to use Python. What is a tuple? Tuple is an immutable list. Once you create a tuple, you cannot add, remove elements from the tuple. You cannot modify elements of the tuple. So tuple is created using the parenthesis. You can see it supports elements of different types, and the type function shows tuple. So you see that tuple supports count and index. A dictionary in Python is a key-value pair. In other languages, you would know it as a hash map. In Python, it's called a dict for short. Let's define a dictionary of fruits. You need curly braces and the key in double quotes, and a colon separates the key from the value, creating an dict of fruits, oranges and apples, their count. And the type will show. You can access an element of the diction using subscript notation. Yeah, that works. So you can use keys, values, and here you have it, keys. What about values? Wow, that's great, so easy to use. A set is an ordered collection of elements, and it can only contain unique elements, no duplicates allowed. So let's create a set of some sample values like A, B, C. Now if you add a same element, it will not show it again. No duplicates allowed. And set supports a lot of mathematical functions like union, difference, intersection, disjoint. Python supports numerical computation. What about looping? So you can loop in Python using the for keyword. And Python also supports ranges. Let's go to the REPL. Say I create a list of numbers. You can loop using the for keyword, for lm in list. I indent and then I print lm. That's nice. So using for, you can iterate over a list. Also, you can iterate over a tuple, the keys of the dictionary, and so on. So for is pretty handy. And what are ranges? It's a simple function. So range 10 returns an object. Now, if you iterate over, so for I in range 10, let's print I. There we have it. So range supports 3 arguments. You can specify the start element, the end element up till 15, not 15 won't be included, and the step. So let's print it out. Yeah, so that's nice. Okay, I'm going to start with the next slide, which is functions. Like all high-level languages, Python supports functions. It supports passing unknown number of arguments to functions. It supports positional arguments, keyword arguments. Let's have a look at the code from section 1, if you remember, search.py. We'll also understand the concept of dunder main. Remember, in Python, the double underscore is usually called as dunder. Let's head over to Visual Code. Alright, this is the code from section 1. If you remember, we created a search method for our naive pattern searching algorithm. Have a look at this. You can see the condition here. So what we're trying to tell Python is if the script is executed directly, that is via a double click in your Windows Explorer or via the command prompt or shell, dunder name is a special Python variable, and if it has the value main, set these variables and invoke the search function which we have defined over here. You use the def keyword to define a function. So this is the body of our search function. Still works great. Let's go back to the code. That's not a surprise because you can see the only thing we are doing is defining the search and we are not calling it anywhere. Let's try calling it over here. Go to search for A in a string containing A, B, C, D, E. So you can see we are calling search and we're defining search over here. Let's execute this script. I hope you're not surprised at this error. Because Python is an interpreted language, we need to define functions before they are invoked. If you invoke this function after it is defined, it will work. But that's clumsy. So the idea behind this section is to say, let's have an entry point, which means you can define functions in any order and they will all be defined in your source code, be compiled, and then you can execute your program regardless how functions are defined. Hence the reason for this kind of an if clause. Make sure you're aware of this